4, 5, 6. I'm going to do 6. So write down 1 to 6 on your page. I don't want anyone to share it in the chat box, just on your page, please. I'm going to read the words once, and I want you to write them down. Okay, number 1, incantations. Number 2, bloodletting. Number 3, afflicted. Number 4, ill-advised. Number 5, okay, this is 2 words. Mountainous assortment. Number 6, dial up. Okay, so just have a check of your spelling, and then I'll show you the spelling. 10 seconds.
Incantation.
Okay, let me just get this. All right, here we go. Oh, I think I said it. Did I say with an S at the end?
S, incantations.
Yeah, with an S.
Good listening. Yeah, okay. On my paper, it says incantations. On my document, it says incantation. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so we don't want anything in the chat box. Thank you, Catherine. Okay, so these... Oh, wait a second. I put alleviate there. Sorry, I didn't mean to put alleviate. It's in a different order.
Ill-advised.
Ill-advised, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I just...
Here they are. It's these ones, isn't it? Oh, sorry. It's these ones. Okay. Right. So some of you might be thinking, why has Paul got all of these words? And what do they mean? Some of them you'll know. Some of them you might not. I think what we'll do is we'll stay in the room all together. I'm going to give you some time, and we're going to go through a few, and then we'll go through the next few. Okay, so let's go through these ones to begin with. Okay. And what I'd like for you to tell me is, can you explain from the context, okay, from the context, can you tell me what those words mean? All right, so let me put 2 minutes on the clock. 2 minutes on the clock, just for you to have a look, see what these words mean, and I'll pick a few people out to help me. Okay.
Is all this vocabulary from a video you posted or someone posted in the Skype group?
No, it's that video is from the same channel, but it's a different one.
But there are many of these in that TikTok.
All right, okay. Let me check. You've got about a minute left. Now, don't forget, if you haven't told me in the chat box, I'm going to come for you and ask you some questions. 20 seconds left. Okay, so let's finish there. Let's start with Tosin. Hi, Tosin.
Hi.
What does this mean? Incantations.
It means words spoken.
Words.
Speaking words, yes.
That's not enough for me.
They said in the olden days, some words were spoken to treat, or so in the olden days,
You are right,
spoken words were used to treat.
but they're not just spoken, are they? They're not. What is it that that witches have? And Harry Potter. What does Harry Potter have?
Spell.
Spells, yeah.
Yes.
So incantations, they're like
And
almost poems, aren't they? Poems or spells.
Or jinxes.
But and they're sort of like they're spoken with a kind of rhythm, aren't they?
Magic.
Yes.
Yeah, spoken with rhythm. It's not exactly the same as singing, is it? But it's almost singing. Sometimes it could be, it's a rhythmic way of doing it, that are said to have magical powers,
Yes.
incantations. So the idea is that if your son was sick, that you get a few different people around, you get the witch doctor in, and the witch doctor would start saying different things. And this is where the idea of spells comes from in magic. Okay, the famous one with witches is hoil and toil, boil and bubble. Was it bubble? Hoil and I can't remember what it is. Hoil and toil and boil and bubble, and you throw a frog into the cauldron, and then get some magic out of it. So incantations. This is a word.
We can say in our culture in Islamic, there's a one surah, one Ayatul Kursi. So it is same like the making a cage around you and protect you from the everything dangerous.
I think I know what you mean in terms of the reading. I think incantations is probably the closest word there is in English to how I've heard people read from the Quran.
Yeah.
Sort of, because it's got that kind of rhythmic way of saying it. It's not just plain speaking, is it? So I think that's probably the closest. And obviously, it's a very Latin word. It's also a cantor in Judaism is someone that reads from the Torah. So
Okay.
it does come from that. It's got this old way. I thought it was Latin, but now I'm thinking about it. It does go into lots of different cultures.
It's from Torah, you mean?
I don't think it comes from the Torah, but there's
Yeah.
definitely the etymology. It comes from another word in English is
the
chanting.
same root of the word
Yeah.
is in Spanish.
It is, yeah, it's the same
Okay.
in Spanish, but I don't know where Spanish took it from. Maybe it came from somewhere else. But yeah, so cant, the idea, it's like chanting, singing. Yeah,
Okay.
that's where it comes from, but it's been changed over time. So if we look at this sentence, in the old days, incantations were used. It's not used so much these days, is it?
Yes.
No.
I can imagine it still is used
Yeah.
in some cultures, but if I go to the hospital in the UK and somebody starts doing this, I'm going to walk out because I'm thinking, I want antibiotics. So there is a sort of a clash, isn't there, between the old ways and the new ways, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Paul. Have you seen Marlene? They're using some medication, something like the magic spell.
I think it still happens in various places. I think it still happens, but it's something which there's no scientific proof, is there, that it works. I think that's the diplomatic thing to say.
Okay.
Bloodletting. Okay, bloodletting. We're going to go for Patricia. Are you there, Patricia?
I'm sorry, Paul.
Yes,
I was
Let's go for
I
Patricia.
wanted to ask
Well, let's you can ask a bit later or send me a message. Okay, go on, Patricia. Let's move on because I want to do this listening today.
Okay, I know it's the act of cutting the patient and then letting the blood ooze out.
Absolutely, cutting the patient and letting that word is interesting because ooze is a word which is in the audio that we're going to do today, and letting the blood ooze out. Okay, so let's talk about ooze for a second. Water doesn't ooze, does it, Patricia?
No, please.
Yeah, water never oozes. Water's too thin, isn't it?
Yes.
Like blood.
Blood can ooze. Blood is thick, isn't it?
Yes, it's great.
Slime oozes, doesn't it?
Gorge.
What was that one?
Gorge out.
Gouge.
Couch. Yeah.
That's not the same. Gouge is to take a big chunk of something out. So if you gouge the skin, like if you have an accident and there's a corner on something, it might gouge your skin.
Maybe flow out. Flow.
Yes.
Flow. Water can flow. Rivers flow.
How about withdraw?
Let's wait,
I
guys.
think it will be like pressure.
Let's wait, guys.
Like
Let's wait. Okay. Rivers don't ooze. Okay. The things that ooze are thick liquids. Pus might ooze from a wound. Snot might ooze from your nose. Blood oozes out. Okay, so bloodletting and incantations, they're not the same in terms of when they were used. Bloodletting was seen as a medical practice, but they don't do that now, do they? Okay, the only time that bloodletting might be used now, I guess, is if there's maybe pressure in the brain or something like that. They might.
Donation as well.
But in general, in the past, they used to say, "Oh, you've got a headache. Oh, we'll have to do some bloodletting," and then blood's coming out. And obviously, again, there was no relationship between the bloodletting and the medical condition. So it's not something that gets used now, bloodletting. Okay. So very interesting vocabulary that's in this video today. Okay. Let's go next. Let's go for Abdullah. Are you there? Abdullah Asani.
Yeah, I am there.
Hi, Abdullah. What about this one? Afflicted. What does that one mean?
Afflicted, affected, to be affected by something.
Affected
in
positively or negatively?
Negatively, negative, painful way.
Absolutely affected negatively by something. So if you're afflicted by COVID, you've got horrible symptoms, you've been made really, really ill. If you're afflicted by the bubonic plague, you had big buboes all over you, and then you ended up coughing up blood and dying. Yeah. But you can be afflicted by other things as well. It doesn't have to be just disease. You can be afflicted by neglect or abuse or, or bullying. It's something that affects you negatively. Excellent answer that, Abdullah. Let's go next. Let's go Priyangi. What about alleviate?
Get rid of.
Get rid of. So if I have an old sofa in my house and I don't want it anymore, do I alleviate it?
No.
That's a bit, but I do get rid of it, don't I?
Alleviate means just.
When you were thinking of it, what were you thinking of getting rid of? Symptoms.
Improve.
Yeah, it's reduce the harmful effects of a symptom. Oh, not affect, sorry. Yeah. So if you have a migraine, how do you generally feel, Priyangi, if you have a migraine?
It's bad feeling.
Pain?
Yeah, pain.
Anything else?
Nausea, just sensitive to light.
Yeah, okay. Photophobia, yeah. So if you have paracetamol, it alleviates it. In this case, it reduces it. Okay. Okay, good. Alleviate. It's a nice word, isn't it? Alleviate. Okay, next. Ill-advised. Let's go with Najibullah. Ill-advised. What does that mean? Are you there? Are you there?
Yeah.
Najibullah? Yeah, ill-advised.
Usually,
Oh, just
for
Najibullah. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. What does it mean, ill-advised in this situation? If you don't know, how can you work it out? Is it positive? Is it negative? What do you think?
I think it is negative.
I think it's negative. Yeah, you're absolutely
Yes,
right.
it's ill is sickness and
Ill, yeah.
recommendation like
So if I invest in a failing business, what happens to my money?
God.
it's gone.
It's gone. So if it was ill-advised, well, ill means negative. Advise, you know, advise. So
What's your recommendation like that?
did I get good advice?
No, it's not good advice.
No. So ill-advised, it doesn't have to come from outside. It can be you as well. Okay. So it means based on faulty thinking. Ill-advised. If I make an ill-advised decision, it means I didn't think about it properly. I didn't consider all of the facts. I made a mistake.
It means like bad advice.
Well, it's not advice because it's something that you can advise yourself.
Careless.
Careless just means without care. It's not 100% the same. I can do something carelessly, but I still don't have a bad outcome.
Wrong decision.
Not a proper decision.
Yeah, I made the wrong decision, didn't I? I chose the wrong. I made the decision based on bad thinking. I just didn't make the right decision at all. Okay. So all of these words, these are all words that could definitely be in OET. These ones possibly if you're talking about ancient traditions. Okay. Let's go through. I'm going to go through a few of them for you. Okay. A mountainous assortment means a lot. A lot. If you think of a mountain, you're thinking mountains are big, aren't they?
Yes.
An assortment is a variety of different types. So we use an assortment of spices in Indian food. If there's a mountainous assortment, it means a huge variety or collection of options or items. That's what a mountainous assortment is. Before a game of rugby, players dial up the aggression they need. So are all rugby players really aggressive outside of the game?
No, they are inside the game. They are very aggressive.
Inside the game, they're aggressive.
Yeah,
but
they
outside
are.
the game, they're nice.
Yeah.
So how do they make the switch? Well, before the game, they all get like this, don't they? And they're going, we're going to kill these guys today. Who's a big, strong guy? You're a big, slap each other's faces. Yeah. And they're trying to get the aggression.
They try motivation.
Yeah, they're trying to do. So if you dial something up, you're increasing. Yeah. Increasing something. You're dialing it up. A dial looks like this. Let me do a drawing. Yeah, a dial looks like this.
With old phone.
Oh, it's like land.
Well, with an old phone, or it might be 1, 2, 3, 4. This might be your it might be your oven at home. Okay. If I want to get it the hottest, I dial it up. I use the dial, I turn the dial to 8.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a dial. This thing here is called a dial. Okay. To ditch, okay, means to abandon. To abandon. Or stop using. So is it possible for a person to be ditched?
Yes, but enter a dish.
Well, if you're ditched, it's a very sad event.
Yes.
No one likes that. My girlfriend ditched me.
Stopped you?
I've got no more girlfriend.
Threw you away.
Yeah.
Split up.
She dumped me. She ditched me. A ditch is the side of a road where all of the water goes in the countryside. Okay. So my girlfriend put me there. She put me in the ditch. I'm not on the road anymore. So if you ditch something, you stop using it, you abandon it. If your car crashes, you ditch it. Okay. You walk down the street. I've left it. Forget it. I don't need it anymore. I've ditched it. Okay.
Ditch, that means throw away, or?
Like scrap.
Yeah, it's like that. But when you ditch something, you might not throw it away. To throw something away is to physically get it and put it somewhere where you'll never see it again. But when you ditch something, sometimes you just leave it where it is. So let's say that you were eating fish in your house.
Fried food.
You throw away the bones, don't you?
Yeah.
You don't ditch the bones. Because to ditch the bones feels like, oh, well, I finished eating the fish. I'll just leave it there. You don't leave it on a plate in the lounge, do you?
But when your girlfriend ditched you, just threw you in a river or something.
Well, she didn't really throw me, but she just left me where I am. She didn't move me or change me. So when with fish bones, you throw them away, you take them somewhere and put them in the bin. Okay. Mist, in this case, with a Y, mystery, you don't know. If you're mystified, you have no idea. Okay? You're completely confused. Okay? You're mystified. I don't know. I've got no idea.
Puzzled, like puzzled.
Puzzled is a good one as well. Yeah, puzzled would be a good one.
Thanks.
Then, okay, now we've got a word that comes from torture. Okay, so torture is pain inflicted upon someone. Okay, could be physical, could be emotional. So if something is torturous, then it means it's like torture. Okay, it's like torture if something is torturous. Now, I've talked about exaggeration before in class. If I say I'm starving, I'm not really starving. I just want to eat. All right. If I say I'm devastated, I'm not really devastated. Okay. I'm not really devastated. I'm disappointed. If you say the film was torturous, I went to the movie last night, it was torturous. What you're saying is it was like torture, but you're not really saying it was like, I wasn't really being tortured. What it was like was I didn't like it. It was boring or it was unpleasant or something like that.
Sentenced.
So I was sentenced like I was in jail. Yeah. So torturous means like torture. So migraines are torturous. You're getting pain, aren't you? Your pain's being inflicted upon you and you can't stop it from happening. It's torturous. In this case with mystified, I don't know where my keys are. I've got no idea. And this word, it can be an adjective or it can be a verb. Okay. So moderate as an adjective means mild. Okay. In the middle, average kind of thing. As a verb, if you moderate with an A sound, what you're doing is you are sort of restricting the extreme nature of something. So if we look at this example, my husband is really competitive. So at my daughter's football matches, I moderate his behavior. So if I ask Anna Luisa, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Anna Luisa. Okay, my husband is really competitive. What do you think he does at my daughter's football matches if he's really competitive?
He tried to. He wanted his daughter win the match.
Absolutely. Okay, so how does that translate to his behavior? What does he do? Does he just think, I hope my daughter does well.
You try to calm him down.
Yeah, so he's shouting, isn't he? He's going, referee, that's a foul. She's a cheat. Yeah, he's being. Now that's not very nice at a child's football match, is it? So
Could be here, I control, like you control
exactly,
his
yeah,
behavior.
exactly. So I'm thinking, come on, John, calm it down a little. There's no need to do that. It's just a football match. I'm trying to moderate his behavior. Or before the match, I might say, John, no shouting today. Okay. Or only shout to our daughter. Don't shout at anyone else. I'm trying to restrict how extreme it is. I'm trying to moderate it. In this case, it's calming it down as well, for sure.
Usual formal structure for these types of classes.
Okay, so here I am with Edwin. Hi, Edwin.
Hey, Paul.
Hi, nice to see you. Okay, so Edwin, you are an OET hero, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, super. So where do you live?